So this is a Cogshall mango, and I'm removing it from my program. The reason why is well, I just want to remove it. Let's put it that way. I find that there's other mangoes that are more desirable for people. So in this space, I will most likely put another Pickering or a Honeykiss. So you can see that this Cogshall mango tree right here has no mangoes on it this season, but yet this Pickering is doing pretty good. And Pickering is a very consistent producer of mangoes. Pickering is also a small tree, and so these trees are already close together, and since they're close and I have limited space, I'm going to go with a Pickering in this spot. One, the production is better and they ship really well. I find that the Cogshalls for me are a little bit more tricky to ship when I do have them, and I would rather have the production of a Pickering. It is possible I put an orange sherbet here, but I don't think so. Well, let's look at what I've done to get ready. So part of getting ready to get rid of this tree is I kind of don't want to lose the variety altogether. And by that, what I mean is I have some like wild area back there where I have seedlings and saplings that are growing. And so I graft random stuff on it just to kind of keep it around. So I want to take some graft material off of this tree. I'm going to graft it onto that seedling so I can kind of keep my Cogshall around. And then I'm going to come in here and I need to make a decision where to cut this tree. So let's look at it. Let's see if we can find a good angle to get in here. I might cut this tree, I'm not sure if we can see this from the ground, right about here. This will keep me some green going right here. It'll actually keep some Cogshall on the tree because the original graft was right here. So by cutting it up here, I have two limbs for green, so it's going to keep the nutrition flowing in the tree. It doesn't completely kill it. I may cut a piece of this off over there and graft on there, and that's where the new Cogshall will be. Now, in preparation to do this, what I did is come in here real close. I've taken some scions, I cut all the leaves off last week. And I did that on several branches. And the reason why is by cutting off these leaves like this, it's going to kind of push some energy to make this tree want to push and grow. And as I look around, I did that one. I did one over here. Let's see. And some of them have done a little bit better, getting ready to push. Here's one right here. You can see all this new growth getting ready to pop out right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'll take a few others and graft it. And since I'm not overly worried about this tree, I'm actually going to try a couple different grafting techniques. One I've been looking at and becoming YouTube certified on, if you will. So that's my plan for today. Graft, and then remove this tree. Once the new sprouts start coming up, I'm going to graft some Pickering material onto here. In preparation to cut and graft and remove material, what I need to do is clean my tools. So I have my grafting knife here, and then I have my little hand lopper, if you will, rubbing alcohol, generous amounts, and I am just wiping off this blade. I want to sterilize it. I want to make sure I don't get any pathogens in the in that cut. It is a sort of a wound, if you will, to the tree. So anything I can do to mitigate any damage and loss to make this graft as successful as we can, that's what I want to do. So I'm just grafting this. And one of the other tools that I have is my grafting tape. So this grafting tape, otherwise AKA buddy tape, there it is. What you notice is it's a tape and it's super stretchy. and it kind of self adheres on itself. And that's what we're going to use to start doing our grafting. So, for good measure. Okay, I liked this one, so we're going to take that one for sure. This one didn't have as much push on it as I wanted. I have another one right here. I cut some leaves off. You can see some of that push going on there. Another one right here. Another one right there. And the reason I'm doing 4 is because my grafting rate is not 100%. If my grafting rate was 100%, I would be like, let me take one, I'm done. But I figure between these 4, one of them has to take. And then I did mention I was going to do another technique, which does not require scion preparation. So, but it does require me to look at, and I think I'll just take this one. I don't have to be quite as particular on. All right, so I have plenty of material. Let's make something happen. So here I have a few random seedlings. Some of these seedlings have already been grafted on. I have a couple different things going on, but here's a seedling that has not been grafted. So I want to put this onto this seedling, and I'm trying to decide the best way to do it. Do I do a cleft graft right up in here, or do I do an approach graft? That matches up pretty well. I kind of like the idea of doing a side graft, because with all the sun, and I can kind of put it on one side. But I think we're going to just do this. Cut that one off. Then I like to have a little smaller piece. I had my knife. Where did the knife go? There it is, I think. Okay, that's not the knife. There it is. Now, because of humidity, I can't see anything in my glasses. They're completely fogged up. And because I'm a certain age, I need to get these on. All right, here we go. Key is to get a nice, clean, straight cut. And that's about as good as I'm going to probably do. So put this away, get the grafting tape out. And that looks pretty nice the way it matches up. Like the diameter of one and the diameter of the other match up very well on this. So I'm going to just take a little piece of tape. It's all gonna be good. Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about nothing, nothing now. It's all gonna be good. So breathe like you know you should. Yeah, breathe till you've understood. Until you feel it like it's up again. Feel the sunlight on your skin. Keep your heartbeat beat. Stretch and put it around there. Breathe in. Then wrap it around several times. Take a look around here right now, you remember this time. 'Cause you only got the moment, so own it while you're alive. Taking it all in one blink. And we wrap all the way up. And the reason you're wrapping all the way up the scion is you're preventing it from drying out, and you don't want to put too much tape on there, because when the buds push, you do want it to push out. Then what I do is I take the tape, I kind of fold it in half, pull on it a little bit, stretch it out, and then go back sort of around it a little at that base, because I want to tighten it up. I want to make sure that I'm getting a good bond between those two. Now, if I had a brown paper bag, I do like to cover it with a little brown paper bag, keep it out of the sun. But that is what we're going to do. We're going to end it right there with this first graft. It's all gonna be good. Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about nothing, nothing now. It's all gonna be good. So breathe like you know you should. Yeah, breathe till you've understood. Until you're feeling like it's up again. Feel the sunlight on your skin. Keep your heartbeat beating. Go on, breathe in. Breathe in.
It's all gonna be good. Don't worry about nothing, don't worry about nothing, nothing now. It's all gonna be good. So breathe like you know you should. Yeah, breathe till you've understood. Until you're feeling like yourself again. Feel the sunlight on your skin. Keep your heartbeat beating. Go on, breathe in.
So now I'm going to cut this off. I've taken some budwood off of here. I put it onto some other places. I'm not cutting this thing all the way to the ground, so actually there'll still be some Cogshall left. But I'm going to get in here. I'm going to decide where I'm going to make this cut. And right now, I'm going to cut right there. Lost my hat. Now, one thing I want to do is cut it again. The reason I want to cut it again is because I had to cut it in two places. By cutting it again, I want just one clean cut all the way through. So now I have one clean cut all the way through. I think I'm gonna... There we go. And I think while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one here. I'm gonna cut it a little higher. There we go. So technically I still have some Cogshall branches here. And then when this throws out some new shoots, I'm going to graft onto it. Thank you for watching.